Hello, everyone. Welcome. If we haven't met, I'm Genevieve Trousdale, the founder of Circophiles and LA-based interior designer. Circophiles is a membership organization that is focused on sharing resources, networking, collaborating, and continuing education. And tonight is very special because Arte has prepared this presentation just for us. I love Arte. I'm just always have been enamored by their diversity of materials and their ability to mix patterns. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you tonight to Bill Calhoun, the president of Arte, and Jim Shire, the West Coast manager. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Genevieve. Welcome, everyone. I hope you've had a marvelous day. And welcome to an afternoon presentation for those of you on the western half of the country and an evening presentation where I am on the East Coast. So hopefully we'll keep you awake for a little while longer. I am thrilled that you would participate with us. We have so much to show you in a short time. Jim and I are very, very happy to work with one of the most prolific wall covering companies in the world, with a passionate desire to bring beautiful products to your walls. I don't know how much you know about the company, so I'm going to just go through a few PowerPoint slides to introduce you to Arte for a moment, and then we'll have a short video that will sort of show you some behind the scenes things for what's happening with us at the current moment. Arte is a 40-year-old company, family run, with subsidiaries all over the world. And as I mentioned, Jim and I have the opportunity to manage one of those subsidiaries here in the United States. If there's one word that describes Arte, it is passion. The founder, who started this business back in 1981, turned the business over to his two sons, Stephen and Philippe Desart, who are managing the company today. And these two gentlemen are the reason Jim and I get up in the morning. They are quite passionate, as I should say again, about what they do. We believe that our products have to be trend-setting, innovative, and most of all of superior quality. We do have corporate showrooms around the globe. We do not have a flagship showroom in the United States. That just means Jim and I have to work a little harder. But it has been a real pleasure for me, having been in the business for a long, long time, to have the opportunity to work with such a energetic and enormously qualified people in this business. You're about to see a video that is behind the scenes that is hosted by Philippe and our art director, a gentleman named Frederick de Koopman. I will apologize for Frederick's speedy talking. His English is great, but he speaks very fast. So we'll kind of highlight what he did say after the video.
Every day we want to bring our passion for beautiful interiors into our wall coverings by using unique materials. We try to give an added value to walls by using innovative design and tactility. This is why craftsmanship, aesthetics, service and quality are top priorities in everything we do. Research and development is the heart of our company. For this season, we have asked our designers to play again with colors, designs and textures. They have created 8 very beautiful but very different collections, or more than 51 different designs and over 250 different references. The new collection is a world of opposites, a mix of warm and soft materials, fresh colors, they complement the dark ones, and modest styles in contrast with very bold eye-catchers.
This is our model collection. This collection exists in 5 different designs. They're all drawn by hand in our Arte studio, and afterwards we use different kinds of ropes to lay them on top of the design. So they're all glued manually by hand, and afterwards we transferred those beautiful designs into a vinyl wall covering. This is the Icons collection. It's a collection with different materials that are already iconic in the world of interior. The first design is called Shagreen. It's an imitation of a stingray leather, and it took us years to create this effect with our screen printing machines. This is the Manovo collection. The collection exists out of 5 different patterns. We have 2 planes, one palm design, a croco design, and a horizontal stripe. The special thing about this collection is it's woven completely in paper and it's woven on a jacquard machine. That means we were unlimited in weaving very big scale repeats. Arte brought a new concept in the market. It's called Décors and Panoramics. Every design has its own story. The thing of this collection is that every design is printed on a very unique material that creates an extra depth, an extra dimension. So we print on velvet, on chenille, linen and satin and other materials. This creates a very big diversity in our product. This is our new collection called Yala. We have 4 new designs. 2 of the designs are made in linen effect, linen chenille, and the other 2 designs are made in boucle. This, for example, is the bambusa. And this one is made in linen chenille effect, and this one is called palma in the same fabric. This is the collection Samal. Samal is made by capiche shells. The shells are coming from Asia, from the South Sea. We clean them, we color them, we die cut them, we lay them in by hand, and we create a very unique shape. The tiles are not straight, they're all like a kind of puzzle effect, so you can put them together. And the nice thing of this is you can be very creative, so everybody can make his own artwork on the wall. Or a full wall, so the choice is up to you.
Okay, so Frederick wasn't as quick as I thought he was. I just want to mention that Arte's had the honor of working with some very world-renowned brands in collaborative efforts over the past few years, with Le Corbusier's launch with a wall covering collection to portray what Le Corbusier, the famous architect, would have done with his wall covering lines in the 21st century. We were actually asked to do that, and it was quite a pat on the back to the founder of Arte. That collection has run its life cycle almost, and in 2018 we joined up with the powerhouse Dutch brand Moe, a very eclectic lifestyle brand. If you don't know, you should check them out. And we've had a wonderful, successful relationship with Moe for the last 3 years, and are continuing that collaboration with new designs, both in 2020, and again, you'll see one coming in 2022. The menagerie, design from our Extinct Animals collection, it's been a runaway bestseller, and it really hit the sweet spot for beautiful floral botanical prints at the right time. We have just introduced a Japanese-inspired collection with the theme of Tokyo Blue, which you'll see the 2 images on the right. And I have to mention, because this is on our website, Moe is in the process of doing a virtual event for the Salon de Mobile Furniture's Fair, and probably will do some live events as well, and came back to us to do a tease for what will be our 3rd edition with Moe, introduced next January. And you will find on our website the first item, the first design, and only in 1 color. So just so there's no surprises, this is the Mimic Moth design done in our thermoform 3D product. And I'm seeing a little hint of a return of damask here. So you never know what's around the corner. Our Spring 21 collections, as Philippe mentioned, include over 50 designs, 250 colors. It's overwhelming. Jim and I have a lot of work to do in getting this in the market. But I wanted to just share with you one particular aspect of our product mix. We found that a lot of designers looked at Arte and thought of it mostly as accent walls or perhaps eye candy, thinking everything was too expensive. We're destroying that myth. We have employed a categorization of our product line to make it simpler for designers to explore what all the Arte product line offers you. Our refined wallpapers are just that. They are refined designs. They're all sold by the roll. They're quite affordable and bring to you not only plain textures, but very beautiful prints. Our exquisite category just simply means we're adding some either additional materials to the product, perhaps a different printing technique. And our couture products are where you will find our handmade product, our thermoform 3D designs, and the shell product, the Capiz shell product that you just saw Frederick talking about. So we're going to kind of walk you through the Spring 21 collection launch, and we'll start with the refined category. And we have introduced a fourth category for spring in our decors and panoramics. This is quite a departure for Arte. We typically have a collection that has a theme, and in the decors and panoramics, you're going to find 11 different designs that are absolutely spectacular in terms of print, design itself. There's a distinction. We'll get into that later. Decors are more, I would say, more usable because it's just a repeatable wall covering in large scale. The panoramics are actually hand-painted murals that have been digitally rendered and are quite lavish as well. So to move it forward, we will take you to the refined category, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim and let him walk you through the new launch.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you all for joining us this evening, wherever you are. Thank you. The first collection in the Refine that we're going to highlight on is called Cameo. And we ask you to discover and appreciate the power of flaws and imperfections with this collection. This pattern here, Twine, is inspired by open raffia patchwork that is stitched together in varying sizes. Arto takes its inspiration from coarse brush strokes that are magnified in an artistic way. Next pattern, Emal. This collection resemblance to pottery is undeniable. The inspiration is from dried earth or the technique in glazing of pottery as well. Lustro. Lustro is a travertine or marble look that has an authentic hand of stone. You'll notice on this one where Lustro, you can install this in a horizontal method, like on the left, or it can also be installed vertically as it is on the right image. On the left, we have a Escama, which is an abstract interpretation of a reptile skin. And on the left, or excuse me, right, we have Shabam, which is a three-dimensional effect with, again, more of a woven sisal patchwork. Next collection within Refined is called Le Tricot. Le Tricot takes its inspiration from high-end textiles and fabrics, creates the illusion of a real textile due to the unique printing techniques at our factory in Zonhoven and the use of velvety soft yarns. The past collection, or excuse me, pattern boucle as well as cashmere, you will see both in both of these patterns, those velvety soft yarns. You'll also see this if you visit our website. We try to give you, like on the image on the right, a very good close-up to give you a good interpretation. And it's very, very helpful depending on the type of materials you're looking for. Most of the designs are modest and widely used and add structure and color to the wall. And these are two great examples of that, a pattern called Tool, as well as Surge, that are all both in Le Tricot. And the one pattern with the chintz look is a bit of an outsider, and it stands out with its playful chalk lines and explosive color palette. And this color palette is created through the use of a satin yarn, a satin thread on the face of this material. This particular pattern is available in 5 colorways. The third collection in the refined category that we're going to highlight is Manila. And Manila is a nod to the hemp rope that is found in the Philippines. Floral patterns in combination with organic shapes are common thread throughout this collection. All designs were drawn by hand, and the threads are meticulously put into place. This design is, to see it in real life, it's quite unbelievable. It looks like you could take the rope and pull it right off of the pattern. And this is all created by doing an emboss as well. I mentioned that. So they'll meticulously lay these patterns out, and then they will pull a emboss, almost like if you can imagine silly putty, and they will pull that emboss, and then we will send that, and it will be printed in and embossed in registration. Again, quite an amazing design, getting a lot of great feedback on this collection since the launch. And I believe there's a couple more patterns. This one called Floor, again, botanical, and this last pattern called Atlas. Okay, we're going to move into exquisite wall coverings. All of our exquisite wall coverings, it's, if you want to call it, that middle category within the Arte line, they're all sold by the yard, and they are all no minimum orders. So you could buy 1 yard or as many yards as you would like. The first collection that we're going to highlight today is called Manovo. Manovo is the largest national reserve in Central Africa and is the source of inspiration for this collection. This collection has botanical prints, geometric shapes, and very plain patterns as well. The jacquard technique that Frederick briefly spoke about on that video is there's no limitation to the size or shape of the pattern that can be manufactured, as in this horizontal look at no. Massif is the name of the mountain range in the park, and the weathered look of the rock walls symbolizes strength, and the vertical lines create a lifting effect on the wall. Croc is a free interpretation of a crocodile skin, and it refers to the great diversity of the animal life in the park. Kumbala is named after one of the rivers that flows through. Again, very subtle movement and just a very, very subtle neutral pattern on the wall. And last on this collection is called Savannah. And imagine yourself at the peak or the top of the savannah looking out among the National Reserve. Icons is the last collection in the exquisite collection for this launch. Icons draws its inspiration from iconic interior finishes that have stood the test of time. Icons charms with versatility of materials such as chagrin leather, curves and soft shapes with a hint of vintage. This particular pattern, platinum, is a weathered metal, and there's also silks and rattans within this collection. Here's another image. You'll see all the colorways. I believe there's 9 colors available in platinum. And again, it's this weathered look. It really looks as though it's stood the test of time. Very, very beautiful pattern, and it's printed over a metal foil ground. Chagrin is based on the leather made from the ray. And this is the one I believe Frederick mentioned that it was almost 2 years to get the screen print perfect to get this interpretation that is printed on just a non-woven ground in our factory in Zonhoven. So this is not real leather, but it looks just like it. Waffle weave is a technique used to weave strips of paper together. This forms a waffle effect reminiscent of waffle linen fabric. You'll see on the left a couple of different colors in the background, and this is available in 5 different colors. And symbiosis is an eclectic mix of intriguing, graceful images. Plants, plumes, rattan form a beautiful symbiosis and stimulate your imagination. And this slide shows just a couple of more colors of that pattern. It's done through a special transfer print technique. That's it. Bill, I'm going to pass it back to you to talk about couture and decors and panoramics.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. As I mentioned earlier, the couture category is where we really get into the fancy stuff. You're going to be intrigued tonight and today. We have handmade products, we have machine-made products, and Arte just really loves to take things to a different level. From the Icons collection, we have introduced a new 3D design called Curve. We have been doing 3D designs for years now. They are extremely popular, and we're using different techniques in the finishes of the textile. These are all 100% polyester grounds. 3D products are made using a polyurethane foam core with a non-woven backing to get it to the wall. And we actually press the design in using a thermoforming technique. What we like about Curve is the boucle texture. This is a throwback to maybe mid-century modern or even longer than that. Beautiful colors. So that Curve design is one of our new 3D products. We have a full collection introduced this spring, also of all 3D products. We have 4 designs in the Yala collection. This first is Bambusa, a beautiful abstract take on a bamboo plant with the stalks and the leaves. And what makes this nice is that the fabric texture is more of a linen or chenille, or chenille, as Frederick said. Monstera, another abstract take on the Monstera palm leaf, done in a block design. And there again, you see the boucle texture. Palma is a classic chevron or done with the palm branch. We've had this design done in other materials, and we've now brought it into our 3D collection. And again, it's on the linen chenille finish. We always like to have a little fun with our products and our introductions, and the Pantera design does just that for us. This is a 3D design again in the boucle texture. And if you look very closely on the left, you may pick up the fact that the panther is actually thermoformed into the product. We've been doing this for several years now, and I think we've pushed our manufacturer to its limits in terms of detail and thermoforming. I did not expect us to be able to do this when we first started. We also have a very interesting, authentic rattan. We're seeing rattan and caning pop up everywhere now. And to have this as an actual wall covering, engineered to go to the wall, is really fantastic. We've already had specifications for cladding this product on the fronts of desks, closet doors, things that we don't really think about wall covering being used for. We're doing this differently. It's a hand-woven, authentic caning, and we offer it in 2 colorways. You notice in the bottom right with a black background, it also comes with a white background, all natural. And the most interesting collection in our couture category this season is the Samal collection. Samal is an island in the Philippines where the capiz shells are harvested by necessity. We're not raping the environment. And we all know that there have been mother of pearl shell wall covering designs in the market for a long time, but Arte took it to a completely different approach. We chose 4 very classic architectural tile designs and created tiles. Unlike our roll wall covering or wall covering sold by the yard, the entire collection of Samal is sold in boxes of tiles. This creates a design opportunity and creative opportunity that we have not been able to offer you before. We have the cubic design, which is a very classic trompe-l'oeil 3-color tile. And what makes this fun is that because it's a tile, you can create your own composition on the wall. We're quite intrigued by this. We're also getting a lot of questions about it. So it may necessitate another webinar just to go through this collection by itself. But we just think it opens up such an imaginative way to use wall finishes. The next design is Prisma, a 2-color tile, absolutely gorgeous. Obviously would make a wonderful backsplash. But there again, if you wanted to do something fun, you can be creative and create stair steps. Helix is a little bit smaller tile. Again, that trompe-l'oeil effect, a 3-color tile. You can kind of see in that left side, the edges. These are really like jigsaw pieces, the way they go together. We had an interesting room shot here of the full wall. And the next slide is like a teardrop emanating from the ceiling. camber, the more elegant, if you will, the tile in a scallop shape, absolutely beautiful color palette, very, very chic and impressive. And you could even get creative with this if you wanted to just put a wainscot on your wall. We actually have prepared a configurator on our website. This, don't even pay much attention to this slide. I just want you to be aware as designers and architects that we will provide you a method in our website for you to do your own wall compositions. This is unique. It will actually allow you to render the image that you create and create a spec for you telling you how many tiles you need. So way more complicated than we have time for tonight. And now we move into the new category of decors and panoramics. I just want to preface this by saying we know there are a lot of digital printed products in the market today, and I think Arte has done it in an Arte way. We looked at this as trying to create more art for the wall, and with the movement toward more dramatic decoration today, both your clients and the designers' wishes to do so, we think we've really hit a sweet spot here. We're getting a lot of great response. So I'm going to first walk you through the panoramics. These are actually hand-painted products that have been digitalized, if that's the right word, digitized. These are murals. This first one is the Hills of Sapa, which replicates the rice paddies of Vietnam. And you can kind of get a gist of the scale there with the furniture in the foreground. Most of our panoramics are 17 feet plus wide and almost 10 feet high. And what is the most unusual characteristic about this entire series is that every design is printed on a different texture, which really lends to the beauty of the product. It enhances what this is all about. I think you may have heard Frederick mention several different textures: silk, silks, or chenille. There's one or two in here that will really make you think twice. But anyway, that is the ground material that the Hills of Sapa is printed on. Next is Jim's backdrop, actually, the mysterious garden. This was meant to depict the misty morning and a garden setting. Absolutely beautiful products. Again, it's a 4-panel mural that becomes seamless when installed. If you have a huge wall, these can be repeated. They're not limited to just one set, but it only comes as a set. So I thought you should know that. Most of our panoramics are 2 colors only. And with the mysterious garden, we have printed that on what looks like a linen. But again, these are all 100% polyester, certainly commercial grade, all Class A fire rated for those of you in the commercial contract side. And I just think what Arte has done with the grounds and the artwork is just superb. Next is the Mysteries of Madagascar. This particular very trendy design comes in 2 colorways. What you're looking at here is Dune, which is a little more of a tone on tone. And the next slide, you'll see the exuberant colors of Madagascar. And in the lower right, you'll see that it's printed on what looks like an open weave hopsack or linen. Again, just giving the product character and giving the design so much more romance. And my personal favorite, the Songs of Tuscany. I don't think my wife's going to find a wall in the house big enough to let me install this, but I would love to. I love the rounded shapes and the uplifting nature of this. This particular room shot was actually done by Architectural Digest in France. They saw the design, wanted to do their own room setting, and Arte very gingerly let them do it because that's not something we typically do, but lo and behold, it turned out to be a beautiful shot. So here you go. I thought it would be appropriate to show you how these are sold. This is a map of the panoramic you just saw, and you'll notice the panel 1, 2, 3, and 4. An installer gets one large roll of all 4 panels, with cut marks indicated where to make the panel seam so that it becomes a seamless 4-panel drop. And this one is roughly 17 plus feet wide and almost 10 feet high. And now we move into the decors category. These are large scale digital prints, all done again on 100% polyester grounds, which are much easier to use in terms of space. If you wanted to do an entire room or an accent wall, you're not constricted to a mural. This is much like the menagerie design, which has been so well received. These are all 51 inches wide, sold by the yard. They do have big repeats, and the colors are fabulous. And once again, we're printing these on different grounds to enhance the actual product itself. The shades of the cypress, which is what you're looking at, is printed on a chenille. There you can see the real texture of the ground. Next is Bird of Paradise. Had a lot of initial interest in this because it's so decorative, it's right on trend. The botanical jungle look is not going away, folks. It's here forever, it seems, but we're not disappointed by that. We have a lot of fun. That leaf, the Bird of Paradise leaf that you're looking at, is probably about a 2 foot dimension. I think there's a little bit of a close-up in the next slide. Yes, we actually printed a little metallic around the edges of the leaf to give it a little more depth as you look at it on the wall. It's a beautiful setting. Blooming pineapple. If there's one design within the decors that really hits the trends today, is these gorgeous floral multicolor patterns. And as I mentioned before, we're hearing from designers that their clients are getting more risky in their decoration. They're looking for product like this without having to pay for a hand-painted mural. I think we really have touched on something. We're also seeing it used in commercial. We just saw a project in Holland where this design was used behind a reception desk in a hotel. Must be 10 feet high and 30 feet wide. Absolutely gorgeous install. And blooming pineapple is printed on what would look like a linen to give it that extra character. The friendly frogs of the Chevrolet. This one may be a little over the top. We have little frogs peeking out through the fruit trees in the plantation. I'm told they're friendly in case you're not a frog person, but why not have some fun, eh? Palafitas Amazonia. This is a bit of a toile design. Again, a little quirky, but I think it will make a great conversation piece in any environment. It depicts the stilt houses that are perhaps on the banks of the Amazon River or some other botanical or jungle setting. But what makes it fun is each vignette has some activity happening, whether it's someone cooking dinner, watching TV, or maybe hosting a Zoom presentation, you never know. And it comes in 3 colorways. I think there's a close-up. Yeah, there's a close-up of the vignettes. You can see the gentleman. He's probably the one watching the Zoom presentation right now. So. And this one is really hard to explain because you really are going to have to touch and feel it. It's called Wonderwoods. The first thing I thought of when I saw it was, I wonder how we got this to be brought to production. It's printed on what looks like feathers or fur. It's a very fanciful, whimsical design, hence the name Wonderwoods. You've got dogs running in the background, cranes and peacocks, snakes crawling through the trees. It is a wonderland. And the texture of this product, which you'll see in the next slide up close, is fantastic. Literally, it feels like you're petting your cat. So it's gorgeous, it's different. I think you'll enjoy it. There you see the artwork and the finished product. So that kind of gives you a very quick glimpse of what we're doing for Arte for this spring. Again, we have 4 categories, really interesting, beautiful array of product. We've been doing this a long time, both Jim and I, and it never ceases to amaze us what our company comes up with year after year with such a dynamic team. So in case you have already gone to sleep, hopefully not. Hopefully you're a little bit inspired by now, but we had a couple of designers graciously share some comments about Arte and showcase some of the products where they used our brand. And we thought you might like to hear that.
Hi, Joe Berkowitz here, coming to you from a Philadelphia project. I'm sitting high up in the sky in a beautiful apartment off Rittenhouse Square. Anyone who knows me knows I love to use wallpaper, and Arte has been one of my go-to companies. They have an incredible variety of patterns and styles and textures, especially considering we do commercial and residential work. They really fit all of our needs. I recently used them on a couple show houses. I used their pattern Grove for the back of a beautiful bar wall in a lounge I designed for a show house in North Jersey. And then I used another pattern called Combine along with two other papers in an incredible foyer that I did up in Princeton, New Jersey. They have been so wonderful to work with. Their people support our industry and really support us and are very generous. And I can't say enough about Arte as a company. Between their products and their services, I thank them and I recommend them highly to anybody who's watching. Take care. Talk to you soon.
I'm Tavia Forbes at Forbes Masters, and we absolutely love working with Arte. The papers are always so beautiful and such interesting materials, like the one we chose for the House Beautiful Show House for our music room in Nashville, Tennessee. The Intree collection and the pattern Carson was amazing on the walls of our music room. We used that in that space and found that it was great for absorbing sound and proposed that to a client for their home office where they record podcasts. And it ended up being an amazing sound dampener, and it came in a vibrant color, so she absolutely loved it. Also love the vast collection of materials to choose from vinyl wallpapers to grass cloths, upholstered papers, and silks. The collection is amazing, and everything is just laid out in wonderful books for you to have in your library, in your office, so it makes it very convenient and it's such an easy sell to our clients.
We all know that there are many different vendors that offer everything, every different type of wallpaper that you need. But at the end of the day, from the moment we met Bill, his wife, and the rest of the team, it felt like we were catching up with friends and family. He has personally called us to check in, to offer suggestions on different materials. He conducted a presentation our first visit into the showroom when we sat around a conference table and had lunch together, and it just felt very familiar and very comfortable. And at the end of the day, I think that is what I appreciate most about working with Arte, feeling like I'm doing business with a friend.
That was so great hearing from Tavia and Monet and Joe. I can personally attest to the moment I met Bill a few years ago at West Week. It was just like we immediately, well, we're both from the South, but we clicked, and he spent so much time with me, walking me through all of the wall coverings. And, you know, there's so many other designers to attend to, but that personal attention really caught my attention.
Try hard.
So there are some questions that have come in, and if you guys want to ask any in the chat box, feel free to. You can also go down to the bottom of your screen and click on reactions, and you'll see a little raise hand button if you'd like to step up and ask your question out loud. I know we had some questions that came in before the event, so I'll go ahead and ask those. Bill and Jim, I know you guys have just been exposed to so many incredible projects. What are a few that have really stood out for you? I can imagine it's hard to pinpoint some, but can you tell us about a couple?
That's really difficult. We cherish every project. Obviously, the most memorable projects are the high value invoices for, you know, casino projects in Vegas, for instance. But honestly, we cherish the fact that Arte's brand is used all over the world in many unique settings. Not many of you know that we're also part of a lot of luxury brands shops, such as Louis Vuitton or even Lexus, for that matter. It's it's always fun to see what pops up that Jim and I are not aware of. But in the United States, our business is probably, I don't know, 50-50 commercial and residential. And we see designers getting excited about our product. We see them posting things when we really want to get our hands on those pictures. Commercially, our 3D products have taken off, and in many ways in hospitality, but we're also seeing that surge of interest in residential for 3D products because everybody's looking for a sanctuary to work in. We're still working from home a lot. We've got kids, dogs, husbands and wives working together. You need that soft space and something beautiful for a Zoom background, perhaps. Anyway, it's really, really difficult to put a thumb on one or two projects. I would mention that we consider these collaborations also projects. I think our work with Moe has been quite satisfying for both these design teams to come together to create a wall covering from a vision that another interior design team has. We consider those really important too. So yeah, that's about all I want to say on that.
And someone else asked about the soul of Arte. You know, it's so clearly rooted in innovation and craftsmanship and quality. How does that define your direction now and for the future?
I think that's the key. I've been pushing my boys in Belgium to open up the soul of Arte for us for a long time. They're quite humble. The family focus there is, you know, what it is. But I think you hit on it. It's quality, it's craftsmanship, it's aesthetic, it's trend setting. We love beautiful interiors and we want to be part of beautiful interiors. I think that's really the mantra. We have to keep challenging ourselves. We can't continue to work with the same materials every time. That's why you see this wide array of product every season. I think essentially we want to create the right customer journey from not only the product, but the service and the end result. And I think as long as we're doing that, I think we probably have a key to success.
Great answer. You mentioned wanting to get your hands on photos of designers' projects. So how can one person actually asks is how can they share their projects with you? Like, does it go through, can you put it on social media? How does that all work?
We would excuse me, we would relish that because if you're on our website, we have a lot of projects. There's a lot of projects shown all over the world. And Jim and I are always screaming for more American US projects to be posted. And I will tell you, we have a very persnickety marketing staff because they want things to be right. Our PR agent is actually on this webinar, so she can probably nod in. But it's very simple. If you have a beautiful installation you want to share, we would welcome that opportunity. If we can get the right quality of photograph, we will certainly post it on Instagram, other social media outlets, and hopefully on our website. And full credit given to the designer as we do such. You know, that's where it's happening. We work very hard to expose this brand because we see every day designers finding us and getting inspired and not seeing us before. It makes it very wonderful to see that happen. But yes, we're not just in it for the show houses. I just want to make that clear. We love that.
And for all houses.
You know, we'd love to see your house too, not just show houses. So.
And so where can our audience see more on Arte? Where can they learn more about the new collections and ultimately specify them for projects?
Jim, you want to take that?
Sure. In all major US cities, metropolitan cities, we have showroom partners that we work with in the residential markets. And in the contract markets, we team with Seal, who has a network of reps throughout all of the US for more of your contract and hospitality projects. We would love to drive more people to our website, which that information will be at the end of this slide presentation. Online, you can order samples. They are shipped out the next day out of our Georgia US headquarters. And then materials are shipped on a FedEx priority right out of Belgium.
Lovely. Lovely, lovely. I think there was another question, and let me grab it from the chat box. How is the rattan caning produced? Is it actually rattan on a glossy ground?
We experimented with the grounds because it's authentic. It's the caning you would see in a cane seat, a rattan seat in a chair, right? It's natural product. And I think we actually experimented with a gloss or a metallic background. We scrapped it because it just didn't look authentic enough. So we're actually laminating the caning, the woven caning, onto a non-woven that has been printed. And that gives us the carrier to get to the wall. It's robust. I mean, it's quite stiff, and you probably can't get more than about 16 or 17 yards in one piece, because that's as tight as we can roll it up. Yeah, it's real and it's beautiful, and there's definitely natural colorations in the cane, in the rattan itself, so you get this beautiful sort of model look on the wall. I hope that answers that. I've never woven rattan myself. I hope they don't. That
Me either. I have a question about installing specifically like the thermoform panels, the dimensional panels. Would you really recommend that, and maybe Arte can recommend, an installer that has installed that product, that type of product before, not just, you know, regular wallpaper or even murals? Is it really a specialty skill?
That's a great question. We had a project this week where we realized that the person was probably not qualified, even though they've been hanging wallpaper forever.
Okay.
I think they were a little bit scared of it, which did not help. It is actually one of the easiest products in our product line to install. We pre-trim everything we sell so that we form a seamless structure. If there's one thing I can say about I keep calling them the boys in Belgium, that's who they are. They do things a different way. They make sure that the product is engineered to be installed without problem. 90% of our products, we are pasting the wall, not the back of the product. And if you look at our 3D designs, the edges are created so that when they're seamed, it creates some element of the design within the face of the product. It may be a little too complicated for me to try to do that without using a lot of my hands, but that's the way it works. I think where people get in trouble is looking at it saying, oh my gosh, this is a nice product, it's expensive, I better not mess it up. When in fact, it's really one of the easiest things to do. Paste the wall. You don't even have to use a smoother. You just press it into the wall with your hands.
Wow.
You and I both installed it. It's not hard because we're not experts. I really would encourage anybody in the audience to look at our website. We have about 15 different tutorial videos on installation on every product category. We just finished the one on the tiles, so hopefully that'll help fill some of the questions that are coming out about that. So.
That was so interesting that Tavia Monet used it for a podcast room. I can only imagine how popular podcast rooms are now.
Yeah.
That's the thing to do.
We're talking about photographs a moment ago. That job is not finished, so they have not posted it yet. But when they do, it's going to be marvelous to see. But yeah, those kinds of things we'd love to see more of. I mean, I think that speaks well to what I was saying about the use of the product too.
So clever. Yes. Okay. Are there anyone else that wants to ask a question or come forward or in the chat box? They're here for you right now. Okay, well, we can always get back to you if you think of something later. So we do have one more special thing to show you. This video that Arte produced, and it is just incredible. The links that they went to construct this scene, to produce the spring paper launch, and it's incredible. So please stay on for just a few moments longer.
Okay, I just want to introduce this video to you. We titled it Nomads. One of the themes for our spring launch was the contrast, the world of opposites, dark and light, jungle and desert. And we decided, because we could not be out in person launching our new products, that we should do something dramatic and artistic. We rented a 600-year-old building in Antwerp that served as a stock and commodity exchange for centuries. We're able to use the plaza because of the pandemic and it not being used for other public events. And we actually created an environment to video the Nomads. It's not a product launch, it's more of a brand video, if you will. And we transformed that plaza you see into a jungle on one side and a desert on the other. We brought in about 12 tons of sand, 250 trees and palm trees and plants. In the next slide, you'll actually see that we built a pool in the floor using the small tiles. But anyway, about a crew of 30 spent 4 days filming and setting up and taking down. So enjoy Nomads. And at the end of that, there should be a slide or a portion that will give you our contact information. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for all your attention today.